Welcome to Foundation Friday. The dedication and covenant of silent unity was signed on December 7th, 1892 by Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, founders of the Unity movement. It is unlikely when they signed this covenant that they had any idea how far-reaching unity would be as it evolved into the church we know and love today. We invite you to join us as we explore and share some of the original ideas, teachings, and writings of the men and women who created the foundation of the Unity Church.
Hi, thank you for joining us today for our Foundation Friday program. Today we are going back in time to learn a lesson that was taught by Unity co-founder Myrtle Fillmore. These lessons were published after she passed away in a book called Letters of Myrtle Fillmore. It was published in 1936. I'm not sure when they were actually written, but the words and the lessons here were so important. They were published to be passed down to us. And we're looking at letters on one of her favorite topics because she was an example of finding help through prayer. These are the letters that she left us titled The Way to Health. Now, honestly, we only have her responses and we never are sure who she's writing to or what prompted them. So with that little caveat, here we go. The Way to Health. Paul said, "Be ye transformed by the renewal of your mind," in Romans 12:2. In renewing the mind and bringing into accord with divine mind, in which we all have individual consciousness, one needs to understand the character of the one mind and the truth of being as the Creator established it. Then it is well to understand where one has been making mistakes, judging by appearances, accepting illusions, working contrary to principle, using the faculties in ways not intended by the Creator. These mistakes and misuses of one of God-given faculties are what we term the causes of human inharmonies. The change of causes also changes the effects. When the individual keeps his mind in tune with God mind, he knows constant harmony and order and success and health. By following the teaching of Jesus Christ and seeking guidance of the Most High, he does not leave room for negative thought to enter. Health or harmony is the one presence and the one power in the universe. The Creator is continually doing His work of restoration throughout His creation, especially in every man and in every woman. For He put all His children into the world to manifest His wisdom, harmony, joy, health, perfection, all that He is. We learn how to cooperate with this all-powerful spirit of restoration. Nothing can stand in the way of our manifesting the health that belongs to us by divine right. During periods of communion with the Father and the Holy Spirit, it is possible for the individual to know the way of peace and prosperity, and freedom from all condemnation or anxiety or injustice, and the way of health and continued strength and use. Study of truth, prayer for greater realization of truth, brings one into His divine order as described above. This is the rebirth spoken of in scriptures, and it is the way into the kingdom. All this may seem at first glance to be a roundabout way to health, but it is really the most direct way to health and all other good. We as individuals lose health or peace of mind or other desirable states by our failure to know how to identify ourselves with God the Father and to use His gifts to us and to let Spirit express through all our faculties and powers. First of all, in seeking a way to help, we need to see clearly that God is omnipresent, as omnipresent as the very life in which we live and move and have our being, as the very substance out of which our body is formed and nourished, as the very intelligence that is within us, in every nerve and brain cell and structure of the body, as the very love that draws together and holds in perfect harmony, if we will only allow it, all the elements of our being as the very light that radiates through us to bless and help others, the light that enables us to understand ourselves and others and all of God's creation, so that we may always think the true state of all creation. Okay, here's her next letter. Whenever we have an experience of sickness, it is evidence that we have been letting go of our hold on the gifts of God. We have ceased eagerly to appropriate and analyze and assimilate and make use of the life of spirit through our thoughts, our words, and our acts, and our living habits. We need to stir up and quicken our senses and give them the baptism of new life in Jesus Christ. Our organism has been asleep from disuse and lack of real vital interest in living, not merely in eating and drinking and sleeping and being entertained, but the vital issues that have to do with bringing ourselves into the full, rounded Jesus Christ expression of life. In seeking the way to health, we are to pray for an understanding of our oneness to God, to claim it. We are to study this relationship so that we may know how to lay hold of the abundant life and intelligence and the substance and love of God and build these into our soul and into our body that we may perfect our expression. The eyes are the physical organs that are the outpicturing of the capacity of the mind to discern mentally, physically, spiritually, all that is. Seeing is a mental process, and the eyes are the instruments that register what the mind has been trained to think and to behold. When our mental processes are in perfect, harmonious accord with the ideas of the divine mind, our sight is perfect and our eyes function properly, with nothing coming between to hinder. The ears represent the instruments of the mind through which we receive instruction from God's mind. Hearing is the receptive capacity of the mind, and only as a person is open and receptive to the voice within and willing to be guided in all ways and at all times by this voice of wisdom is his hearing sense lifted to the spiritual plane and being put to use as God ordained it should be. listening within for that still small voice with a mind consecrated to obedience trains the ears to their true function. The nose is the physical organ that is the outpicturing of the detective capacity of the mind. The sense of taste is also mental in reality, discriminating, appropriating. The senses are built to enable the mind to function in its capacity to find that which is good for the soul and the body, and to direct the individual towards the appropriation of it. The mind that is in tune with true being, the Christ self, is not interested in ferreting out evil or dwelling upon the undesirable in any way. With our feeling sense, we are to feel for God, keep our attention on Him, and train all our faculties, senses, emotions, feelings to comprehend His radiations, His qualities as they express in man's consciousness and body and affairs. Then do we feel God, His presence of love, life, joy, wisdom, power, and the expressions of these God ideas so positively and so fully that we are quickened and radiate the very things our mind holds, so our world too feels the presence of God. Okay, here's the next one. The one who is truly seeking that which is of God is expressing the good and the true in thought. He does not think adverse thoughts, nor believe in impurity of any sort in his self or in others. And so this sense of smell and this sense of taste are powers of God mind, which is ever working to connect us with our good. Baptizing the senses of seeing and hearing and smelling and tasting and feeling leads us to a natural intuition and spiritual insight and the power to identify ourselves with the absolute, God the good. All the senses work in the realm of the mind, but all have their physical side and use. We use what they tell us in our thought world, that which we think of ourselves or others, or of creation in general, we build up the belief in and begin to register in our own soul and body. That which we habitually see mentally, our eyes begin to visualize, and the cell structures of the organs themselves are affected and built according to the vibrations set up by these thoughts. It is true of the other senses and their organs. Our negative thoughts and emotions, feelings, react upon the parts of the body that have to do with the phases of life that they touch. And the next one, the way to healing is first of all to re-educate the mind and to establish the truth in all the faculties, then to see the reality of the body and its functions and to stamp every part with the perfect pattern, which is God-given and known as the Christ man, the outpicturing of the Christ ideas in individual consciousness. Make the study the living habits and make them conform to the truth that good it only is real and abiding and truly active. Therefore, the individual may have gone to physicians and surgeons to receive their suggestions and treatment. He now goes to God mind, which the Holy Spirit promised by Jesus Christ make known. He holds to that truth. He holds it to his body. His body is pure and alive and perfect in every part because he wishes to use this perfect mental pattern to direct him in his treatment. He then looks into all his thought habits to see that they are prompted by faith and divine love and wisdom and life and joy and freedom. He looks into his living habits to see that he is really taking good care of the body and meeting the requirements of its many departments and functions. He acquaints himself with the different parts of the body and learns what it is they are truly built for. He learns what each needs and delights in supplying these needs. He formulates prayers based on the truth of his being and uses these prayers faithfully in order to feel them in the mental side of his body. He realizes that he is re-educating his mind and senses that he is at the same time reforming his physical structures. Okay, that brings us to the last of these letters. Here we go. God not only has created the earth and us, but he is actually the very essence of all that we see about us and all that is within us. We are the free agents who must learn to take and combine his ideas and the manifest materials into the soul and the body that we are to use. We are not sitting off here doing something by ourselves and occasionally asking God somewhere outside of us to help. In reality, God is working out through his offspring that which he has conceived to be the ideal creation and life. But he has given us the power that he is, just as any wise father gives his son full freedom to become the son he feels sure that son will be. He gives him the best start. He knows how to give and then leaves it with his son to use as his heritage, to make his own way in life. And that is just what God is doing with us. When we ourselves make health, wholeness, holiness the dominant thoughts of our mind, re-educating our physical senses to their true purpose, our body temple will be sure to manifest its God-given perfection, because our body is the fruit of our mind. Thus, we remake our consciousness so that it will correspond with God's perfect idea of us. Our part is to concentrate all our senses to the truth and train our thought children to express joy, love, faith, wisdom, life, and health. Okay, so those are the letters that are in the book from Myrtle Fillmore. I hope you enjoyed them. And if you know somebody that you believe would benefit by seeing this video and becoming familiar with these works, please share it. Any and all of our videos are available to share, to use, to enjoy. We thank you for being here today. But before we go, please know you matter. You are sacred, and you are so, so very loved. Namaste.
Thank you for joining us, and let's stay connected and grow in spirit. We are on Facebook. Search for Unity Church of El Cajon and follow us and like our posts. You can reach us on YouTube at Unity Church of El Cajon. Please subscribe to our channel, watch our videos, and leave comments which can help us improve. We are on the web at unityofelcajon.org. Email or call our church office to receive our weekly newsletters, which lists all of our activities and opportunities to learn and grow together.